Welcome back everybody to more from the Sableyes, and welcome to our first video in our series, Top 5 Decks that you might consider building with new cards from Unbroken Bonds. I'm going to come up with a snappier name than that, Matt, but at the moment, that's it.
Alright, that'll do for now.
That's going to have to do. So the first deck that we're going to run through might not be the most meta-relevant deck, but it certainly is good fun. It's a deck that we've entitled Tag Team All-Stars, because it has essentially one copy of pretty much every tag team that's been released so far.
Yeah, it's got the seven probably mainish ones that are easy to power up and use.
Yeah, so there's probably maybe 2 or 3 that we don't have, but hey, that's enough. That's enough tag teams. So Matt, I'll leave it over to you. This is your deck to profile. Yeah, take it away.
No worries. Well, I figured we'll start with the energy acceleration of the deck. We've got Porygon from the new set, which has Digicharge. For a colorless, you can search out any energy from your deck.
Which is pretty good considering most of your energy are going to be special energy, so you need to grab those and be ready to attach them.
Porygon-Z is the main way of accelerating the energy. It's got an ability called Crazy Code, and it's essentially like your magnetic circuits and all that sort of thing, but for special energy. So as often as you like, you can attach special energy to your Pokemon in any way you like from the hand.
Yeah, so obviously, being a Stage 2, it's going to be a little awkward to get out sometimes, but once you do get it out, it means that you can just power up pretty much any of these tag teams that you like, and depending on matchups as well, you can use different ones, which is really cool. So we'll have a look at some of those, shall we?
Yes, that's it. Alright, so the first one off the bat, Eevee Snorlax.
So again, yeah, nice basic one.
That's it.
If you need to do, how much does its GX attack do? 210.
210.
Yeah, that's a pretty good number.
Yes, that's right.
And you can also use double colors for it as well.
That's true. We've got Pheromosa Buzzwole GX. So obviously, the big hype about this card is obviously the Beast game. If you get a finishing move on a Pokemon, you can draw extra prizes. If you've got, I think it's 8 extra energy, you can draw another 3, I think it is.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily the most impossible card to pull off, but it's probably going to be quite difficult to get 8 energy on there. Although, if you have the right cards in hand, then maybe it's not so hard after all.
I mean, you can attach them all if you've got them in hand with Porygon-Z, but yeah, we've got a couple other ones as well. Guardion Sylveon.
Guardion.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's right. Guardion, as we've been calling it.
Blake's Guardion has spread to you now.
That's right. Fairy song to get energy out, but I think it's only fairy energy, unfortunately. Kaleidoscope, you can move any number of energy. It doesn't say basic with that move. And then Magical Miracle for 200. And then your opponent shuffles their hand away, so that's also pretty handy to have.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's not shuffle your hand away and draw anything. That's literally just it goes away.
Just bye-bye. All right, then we've got the Reshizard, as we're calling it, the Reshizam. I'll get there in a minute.
He's under pressure. It's the first time Matt's taken the lead on a video and it's fallen apart instantly.
Reshiram Charizard. Now, we've seen this a couple of times, obviously, in the channel. Outrage, 30 plus 10 for each damage counter. Flame Strike, 230, and you can't attack next turn. Or you've got Double Blaze, which is 200, and if you've got 3 extra fire, you do an extra 100.
Yeah, and with 270 HP, that Outrage can quite easily power up very quickly.
That's right. Machamp and Marshadow. Now this is another new one. We've got Revenge. It's basically the same as any other Revenges we've got. 30 plus 90, I believe. Easy to knock out any Pikaroms or Zorarks. Then we've got 100 Blows Impact, 160. And then Acme of Heroism GX for 200. And if you have an extra energy on board...
You probably do.
Yes, quite easily. It turns itself into a Focus Sash.
Oh, so essentially that means that you, like, if it was going to be knocked out, it wouldn't be knocked out, right? It'd be on 10 HP.
That's right, be on 10 HP, yeah. So if it was to be knocked out by an attack from your opponent's next turn, then it's left with 10 HP.
That's pretty good. Doing 200, taking a knockout, and then not knocking itself out next turn, that's pretty solid.
That's right. Alright, it brings us into Gengar Mimikyu. We've seen this before. Poltergeist does 50 times the amount of trainer cards in your opponent's hand. Can build up quite easily, especially if you're going to pull off Horror House GX, which is pretty easy to do. Psychic plus another energy. It allows you to both draw up to 7, and your opponent can't play any cards next turn.
Yeah, beautiful.
From their hand.
That's a pretty solid one, especially when you're trying to build up your opponent's hand to get those items in there, those trainers.
Yep. Just to keep note that anything you're discarding from hand, so for a Heat Factory or a trade, for example, you can still use that to get your trainers out of your hand.
Yeah.
And then to round off the tag teams, we've got Muck and Alolan Muck. So lots of poison damage out of this thing. Another tanky 270 HP. Severe Poison does 8 damage in between turns instead of the 1. And then Poison Absorption, so if your opponent's poisoned, it does 120 and heals 100. And then Nasty Goo Mix, which is this GX attack, which is free, but if you have 4 extra energy, it does Paralyzed Poisoned, is its base thing, and then the extra energy gives it 15 damage per turn. So lots of poison damage coming out of there.
Beautiful, and the positive thing about this, even though you've got 7 tag team GXs that aren't necessarily synergistic, they don't necessarily work together, but in every matchup there's probably an opportunity to use each one of them. For example, when you're playing against something like Lucario Melmetal, your Charizard comes into the fore, you can use that to hit for weakness. You're playing against a water deck that's come in to maybe give itself a bit of an advantage over those Reshiram Charizard decks, then suddenly you've got access to Buzzwole Pheromosa. As you mentioned before, Matt, those Fighting Weak decks are going to struggle with Machamp, Marshadow, and Psychic's always a good type to have. So all of these cards can very, very easily put yourself in a position to take easy knockouts against your opponent, depending on what you're playing against.
Yeah, well, that's it. There's a lot of type coverage in here as well. The downside, obviously, those pesky games where you might be up against fire and you start off with a Pheromosa Buzzwole, but you get that. But it's a nice coverage. I don't think we're missing too much. Obviously, there's no water to cover the fire decks that are coming out, but I think most of the other cards in here would probably be alright in those matchups.
Yeah, fair enough. Now, are there any other Pokemon that we're missing here, or is that it?
That's it. That's all this deck plays. Obviously, once you get set up, you can quite easily power these things up, and being nice and bulky, they can take a couple of hits before you actually need to start worrying about them. But yeah, that's it for the deck.
Beautiful. So let's just wrap up these Pokemon and move on to the trainers.
No worries.
So I'll give you a second to pack those off the table there so you can get your trainers ready. Really, really good thing about this, obviously, once it gets going, it's actually quite hard to deal with because all of these big tag teams have a lot of health, and unless you're playing in the right matchup, you're going to really struggle to knock some of those out. So that's the big positive that this deck has. Obviously, a negative being a Stage 2 support Pokemon, it can be quite tough to get that set up, but once you are set up, it's probably going to be a fun time for you.
Yeah, well, I think the list of supporters that we've got for the deck do make a lot of difference and make it tougher for your opponent as well. So we'll go into them now.
Sounds good.
Alright, so first up, the main search for the deck is Green Search. Now, obviously, we do play an ability in Porygon, but you can determine when you want to put it online. And like I said, the tag teams are bulky, so they can take a hit or two most of the time, and which gives you time to just search for things with Green Search to build your hand up.
Yeah, 100%. Green Search is probably one of, if not the best supporter that comes out of this set. Obviously, World is up there too. Really good to search for what you need, like a rare candy or something like that to get yourself going. That's
right, yeah. So I've seen a lot of Stage 2s starting to use this a little bit, because obviously you can search for your rare candy and either an Ultra Ball or a Pokecoms to get your Stage 2, which is quite handy.
Beautiful.
So, Lily, it's another turn 1 supporter that you can use just for drawing cards.
Yeah. That's a good one. Draws to 8, can't go wrong.
Yep, that's right. And this next one is what really makes things annoying for your opponent. 3 Ace Roller.
Yes.
Now, obviously, your tanky Pokemon, you can pick them up with Ace Roller. Porygon-Z's ability, you can put all your energy back down. It's really good. Makes life a lot harder. You can switch out a tag team for another tag team. Whatever you want. There's 3 of them.
And this, we saw it in some of the games that we were playing. Ace Roller can be really, really frustrating to deal with.
That's right. Now, a little bit more draw. Erica's Hospitality, because you're going to be playing a heap of energy out of your hand when you set up. You usually got a lower hand, so you can draw cards. And these days, you've got a lot of setup decks, support Pokemon that like to fill up their bench. Jirachi's example, and you're always going to probably draw 5, maybe 4 cards at the least.
Yeah. You
when
can't
this first...
really complain about it, can you?
That's right. When this first came out, I always thought that if you're going to be drawing 2 or 3 cards, it usually means your opponent's playing really slow or bricking. So
yeah, no, fair enough. And Erica's Hospitality, especially with this deck, since you're playing so many of your cards down as energy from hand, if you're up against a deck that has 5 or 6 Pokemon in play, Erica's can really swing the tide for you. Like, you're missing an energy or 2, Erica's does the job to pick those cards up that you need.
That's right. Yep, that's right. If you've got a rare candy in hand and you don't want to use the next supporter, I guess, which would be Judge, you can also just draw cards without shuffling your hand.
Yeah, so
yeah.
Judge is a pretty good one. Obviously,
right.
shuffling your opponent's hand is really important at the moment since we lost.
That's right. This is
two sets ago, or 2 rotations ago, or whatever it was. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's been a long time. I'm blanking out on it. 1 rotation ago.
Yeah, that's right. This is your only hand disruption, quite easily. Probably one of the better supporters that we've got at the moment, just because there's so much draw, and if you can limit your opponent to a smaller hand and hope that they don't draw out of it, you're probably going to be winning the game.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
And then we have 2 Guzmas just to kill things with our big tag teams.
Yep, yeah, just smack them, get rid of them, see you later.
That's right. That's right, and that's all the supporters for this deck.
There you go. It's a pretty small draw supporter line, but green search is the key. Let's have a look at some of those items, man. Let's do it.
No worries. All right, so we'll just pack these up.
So yeah, obviously, draw support seems to be on its way out. Lots of the decks that we're seeing at the moment aren't having pure draw supporters anymore. There's lots of green, and there's lots of welder. And Lily is seeing a bit of play. Cynthia's still a 1 or 2 of card in lots of decks, but yeah, starting to see a lot less of that draw support, which is quite interesting.
Alright, so to find all these supporters, we play 4 Poker Gear. Poker Gear is... Look at the top 7. That's right, look at the top 7 and draw a supporter.
Can't complain about that, and especially since Tapu Lele is in the process of rotating, Poker Gear seems like a pretty natural replacement.
And this doesn't play Lele, so that's always good as well. 3 Nestball for your big tag teams.
Yep, you only ever need to play 1 or 2 of them, maybe get a Porygon down and then the tag team you're looking for, and eventually...
That's right, in my testing we haven't found that we needed all 7 tag teams, so usually 2 or 3 see out the game for you.
I can't imagine there's ever going to be a situation where you need 7 tag teams in a game. That's probably a game that you're losing. If you've got 7 tag teams, I don't know. Or
you've used all your ace rollers for each one. So 2 Ultra Ball. Seems as though lists are cutting a couple of these just to fit other things in them these days.
One of the good things about Ultra Ball, obviously, though, is that you need to be able to search out Porygon-Z. All of your other Pokemon you can search for with Nestball, but Porygon-Z is probably the most important card in the deck, so Ultra Ball is able to get that for you.
That's right. Pokécon's just another Pokemon search. If you've got extra Porygons or other tag teams you don't want to play, you can just put them back in the deck and look for something that you do want. Say if you're up against fire, like I said in the start, and you've got a Buzzwole in hand, then get rid of that because it's weak to fire.
Yeah, and then there's going to be lots of times when you have the tag team in hand that you don't want to have, so Pokecoms can get rid of that pesky Gardevoir Sylveon in a matchup where you're going to lose with it and just get yourself the card that you need.
That's right.
I don't know why I picked on that one there, but
3 rare candies, because obviously that's the way we get into Porygon-Z. Pretty self-explanatory.
Yep, and we can play less of them now that we're playing Green Search as well, which is
really good. Right. And then an Energy Lotto just to get into early energy if need be, or just that 1 energy that we might need for the turn.
Exactly, and Green Search means that you can grab an Energy Lotto. It means you've got a way of finding energy if you have to.
That's right. Alright.
This the exciting part, the energy.
That's right. This is actually what caught my eye when I first saw this on the Japanese website. We play nothing but specials.
So we got 4 of the Steel Lightning Psychic, we've got unit energy, we've got 4 of the grass, water, fire, we've got 4 of the fairy fighting dark, and 4 rainbow energy, which seems pretty good.
That's right. Unfortunately, the Porygon-Z effect doesn't get rid of the 1 damage, but that can also help you with an ace roller if need be. But yeah, 4 of the 3 unit energies that we've got currently in format, and then 4 of the rainbow energy.
Which is it's amazing. It's genuinely amazing.
That's it. Obviously, the unit energy covers 3 typings for each one, so we've got a good type coverage for our tag teams. Most of them only have, I think, 2, maybe 3 of the coloured energy, and the rest is colourless to attack with. So we can always throw 3 of the unit energy, or even 3 rainbow and 1 extra. We've got a lot of moving around, a lot of comfort, which is good.
Yeah, 100%. And one of the good things is because you've got so many options with these energy, the 7 tag teams that we've currently got in the deck, you don't necessarily need to play all of them. You can play a few less, you can play a few more. If you feel like your meta is maybe all fighting weak Pokemon, you can chuck a couple of those Machamp Marshadow GXs in there, because you've still got 8 energy which provide the right colour for
That's
that
right.
deck. So it's really, really cool. The only, obviously, you're going to struggle with things like Zoroark Greninja, because I believe that attack is based on basic energy, so you're probably not going to play that one, but there's plenty of options out there for you. It's a very modular deck. You can pick what you like.
Yeah, well, that's it. The Zoroark Greninja, as you said, only works off of dark energy, and I'm pretty sure it does say basic as well, like you said. And then Pikarom, obviously the GX attack needs 3 extra lightning, as well as the 3 lightning that is already on it, and then so that means we need to use either the 4 unit energies and 2 rainbows. So it's a little bit more specific and not quite as much wiggle room as the other ones provide.
Yeah, but you can still use them. I mean, it's up to you. You know, you can pick and choose. But
yeah,
we think we've probably got the if we're gonna have to pick 7, we have to pick. If you're gonna force me to pick 7 tag teams, Matt, these are probably the 7 that we'd have.
And I mean, if you really wanted to be extreme, you could go for Wailord, Magikarp, and try and put 8 water energy.
Yeah, to get the 100 spread on everything, that would be exceptional. Right. I would love to see that. Oh
yes.
dear, but yeah, no, it's a pretty cool idea, I reckon.
Yes, we've had some fun playing testing with it. I mean, yeah, like you said, we don't know how meta relevant it would be, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun playing with.
Yeah, beautiful.
Because who doesn't like playing with shiny big tag team GXs?
Yeah, exactly. You get to play with all the cool cards from the set.
That's right.
Yeah, thanks Matt for running us through that one. Just a bit of a shorter video today. If you're looking to build decks for the next format, then this is definitely one to consider, especially if you're looking to have a bit of fun. We'd probably rate it as our 5th favourite, but that's just because it's so fun to crazy code and just attach random energy to random Pokemon.
That's right.
Beautiful. So thanks Matt for running through that one with us.
No worries, mate.
If you're interested in seeing more content like this, then click the little sable eye in the middle of the screen to subscribe if you haven't already. On the left-hand side, we've put a video of the Tag Team All-Stars, so have a look at that in action. And on the right-hand side, you'll see more proxy boxing videos for you to enjoy. But yeah, we'll catch you all next time. Thanks very much for coming along. We'll see you later. Bye.
See you guys.